Hair Expo in Australia, you know, it's the biggest showcase of our industry.
Hair Expo approached us and asked us if we wanted to get together a New Zealand team to take over to Sydney, and initially I was a little bit daunted by it because I knew how hard it was going to be to put on a huge show at Expo, and being in Sydney and we're here in New Zealand. But then I thought about it, and after talking to a couple of friends in the industry and asking them if they'd be willing to help out, I thought, no, we can definitely do it. It's going to be hard, but we can definitely do it.
The initial phase was really, I guess, like a brainstorming session where we all got to kind of hang out with the young ones and the old farts like myself, really kind of just exchange ideas and come up with the initial concept for the show.
The preparation for the show was extensive. You know, we really looked at it. It was probably good, maybe 10 months worth of concepting the ideas up, seeing how it could best benefit the New Zealand hairdressing industry.
First off is try and get sponsorship, which in this case we were really lucky to have GHD do that for us.
I have worked quite a lot with GHD over the last few years, and that's something that I love doing because they're very fashion oriented.
The theme for the show was Ice Queen Maiden, so the hair had to convey that feeling. It was very free, light and full of movement.
So some of the hair looks that we did for the show was lots of texture, you know, big hair. We incorporated a few braids and hair pieces and a lot of feathers, which really tied in with our theme that we had going, which was an Ice Maiden theme.
Got to play around with the Maximise mousse, which I personally really like because it creates a really good texture and foundation for whatever looks that you need to create.
I think the key product that we used was Maximise mousse because all the hair was big, wild, quite heavily textured, and I think Maximise mousse might have been the hero product.
The looks that I came up with for the show, it's the dark, quite edgy, but with a little bit more of a almost gloomy aspect to it. We decided to use some pearls and some broken up mirrors glued onto the face, so it created a little bit of a highlight and it almost represented like the snowstorm.
I loved the way our Kiwi show represented itself, the way our young stylists represented our Kiwi industry.
The music started with an eerie sound, and it had a winter theme, so there was the rain and the backdrop and the snow, and then out came these awesome models, like all had blonde hair and light coloured cream or white clothes, and they just cruised out like a European fashion catwalk show.
In comparison to a lot of the Australian shows, it looked quite special, like it looked really couture, which was quite nice to see at a hair expo. There wasn't too much sort of theatrics or drama, it was quite straightforward. It was all about the hair, it was all about the fashion.
It looked understated, which is like the key thing about our Kiwi look. It's cool, but it doesn't look like you're trying too hard. It is just effortlessly cool.
Generation Next is exactly what it is about, you know, the next generational wave of people coming through. So we've got to support that, and we've got to make sure that our knowledge is passed on through them, and so on and so on.
I love the experience of working with my fellow colleagues who I admire. I also enjoyed motivating and inspiring the young generation.
The highlight for me was probably working with you know, the really talented people in the industry, and just kind of watching and learning from them and getting some new skills.
Opportunities like the Generation Next show are definitely good for young hairdressers because it's a way to put your name out there, and it's a chance to work with a lot of top stylists.
Any opportunity that a young and up-and-coming stylist gets, whether it is competition work, whether it's a free photo shoot, whether it's to help on a photo shoot, whether it's to do a show, anything in that vein is a fantastic way, first off, to develop your personal hairdressing skills, but also it's a great way to really showcase the creativity that you have in your personal aesthetic when it comes to hairdressing.
I think going to Hair Expo for New Zealand hairdressers is an amazing opportunity.
If you're not going to something like that, what are you going to? Because we don't have anything of that size in New Zealand.
We're quite a way away from the rest of the worldwide hairdressing industry, and I just think because it's Sydney and it's so cheap to fly there now, and accommodation is really reasonable, why wouldn't you go?